Quinn Snyder calls a timeout. He's on the sideline, scribbling on his whiteboard, while the players observe him carefully. He pauses for a second and realizes, wait, it's the All-Star game. Snyder temporarily forgot he was coaching the All-Star team when he made eye contact with Mitchell, Gobert, and Conley, players who are on his own team, the Utah Jazz. That's when he thought to himself, wow, we made it. We finally made it. The cool thing is, all three of these players were overlooked and underrated at some point in their lives. Mitchell was the 13th pick in a draft that was supposed to be stacked, but from day one, it was clear he was one of the best of his class, and he should have went higher. Gobert was the 27th pick, and doubters thought he'd be too slow-footed to keep up in a fast-paced league. Mike Conley was a pretty high pick, but throughout his NBA career, he was always underrated. In fact, he was labeled as underrated so much to the point where it honestly got annoying. If you look up the definition of underrated in the dictionary, we should probably put his face on it, cause the words Conley and underrated go hand in hand. But he made his first ever All-Star game, so maybe we can stop saying that. Anyway, how's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today, let's take a detailed look at the Utah Jazz. Why are they so good? How did they improve so much compared to just a year ago? But before we start, I'd like to give a shout out to my sponsor, Raycon. Raycon is disrupting the electronics industry by designing premium wireless audio for half the price. From their designs to their pricing, Raycon offers competitively priced and high-quality wireless earbuds in a variety of different colors and patterns, along with different fit options and of course, no dangling wires or stems. The company was founded by Ray J, and it's been quite popular among athletes and celebrities. Mike Tyson and J.R. Smith are both obsessed with Raycons. I've personally used them to listen to podcasts while I'm doing my home workouts. You get 6 hours of playtime with more bass in a more compact design for a comfortable noise-isolating fit. If you want to listen to music, audiobooks, or anything else, but you don't want to sit in front of your computer all day, you can use them on the go. It comes with a 45-day return policy as well. Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/AndyHoops to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. You know, it wasn't too long ago when Rudy Gobert contracted COVID, and this video of him licking his hands and spreading his germs became a controversial moment. There were rumors of him and Donovan Mitchell possibly butting heads, and their relationship was reportedly unsalvageable. Don was always a health freak, while Gobert's a somewhat careless free spirit, and this incident drove a ridge between them. Gobert's $200 million contract also drew some criticism, as some former players were quite vocal about him earning that much. Cause he's not the type of center who dominates like those of the past. But it doesn't matter. He does dominate within his own skill set. The Utah Jazz as a team have been absolutely absurd, and I mean it in a good way. Before the 2021 season, we all expected them to be good, but first seed in the Western Conference good? We didn't think that. Very few thought they'd be ahead of the Clippers and Lakers, or even the Nuggets at this point in the season. In my opinion, the Jazz have been the biggest surprise by far. But the funny thing is, the surprise isn't Mitchell or Gobert. They've been pretty much the same compared to last year, but it's the role players who are making a difference. They've been killing it. Jordan Clarkson has been one of the frontrunners to win 6th Man of the Year, most likely the frontrunner. He's having a career season with a career high in scoring, and his prior weakness of inefficiency has been mitigated. Playing on the Jazz has done wonders for his game, and unlike other teams who were impatient with him, the Jazz need him. They need Clarkson to be a spark plug off the bench, because nobody else on the bench has the scoring ability he does. I saw a stat recently from Synergy Sports, and it really caught my eye. In pick-and-roll situations, there's only 3 other players who are more efficient than Jordan Clarkson. Those players are Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, and Damian Lillard. Clarkson generates, on average, 1.14 points per pick-and-roll as the ball handler. Sarah Todd, a columnist who covers the Utah Jazz, had this to say about Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson can do everything, period. I don't ever want to hear him described purely as a guy who can get a bucket. He's completely changed and evolved and improved his game and is a lot more committed on the defensive end than he gets credit for. Whether it's spin moves, getting low against crafty guards, hitting contested shots, knocking down open three-pointers, or blocking shots, Clarkson is nearly always making good plays. Clarkson is nearly always making good plays? Clarkson nearly always good plays? That's something we've never heard anyone describe him as before. In fact, it's always been the opposite. It's been a long NBA journey for Clarkson, a guy once known for his erratic playstyle who can get a bucket now and then, but that was it. It usually translated to him doing random ISOs and throwing up contested shots or not passing the ball adequately and just straight up making boneheaded plays. That's what he was known for during most of his career. Now, though, he transformed into a complete player and has a much more thorough understanding of the game and his role on this team. In addition to Clarkson, Mike Conley bounced back from an underwhelming season. He looks more like his usual self now, the guy we adored in Memphis. On the court, the biggest change from a playstyle perspective is that the Jazz are taking way more threes than they used to. Even in previous years, they did take a lot of threes, routinely among the top 10 teams in three-point attempts per game. But now, in 2021, they're number 1 in attempts with nearly 43 three-point attempts per game, while making a league-best 17 per game. That's nearly 40%. To shoot that high of a volume at that percentage is very, very impressive. The Jazz have fully embraced their three-point prowess with a handful of snipers who make the offense so deadly. In fact, they shoot almost as many threes as they do twos. That's when you know you've made it, at least in the modern NBA. But it's not only the three-point shooting that's been on point. Everything about their offense has gotten more crisp and clean. Quinn Snyder has always been a meticulous, calculated coach who emphasizes the importance of running a fluid offense. He absolutely hates it when players make a half-ass attempt to set a screen or make a lazy pass, or someone cutting to the rim makes a half-hearted attempt, whether it's kicking it out to an open man or hitting the roll man or a cutter in the paint. Giannis played against the Jazz twice this season, and his team lost both times, as the Jazz poured in a whopping 131 points and 129 points in the two meetings. They just couldn't guard them, and Giannis was asked what made it so difficult. They're moving the ball, they're playing for one another. Everyone knows their role. Whatever they do, they're doing hard. They screen, they roll hard, you know what I'm saying? The person at the top of the key gets the ball, he goes for a handoff hard. The guy that sets the back pick to start the play, he does it hard. The guy that throws to the corner, they know their role. They've been together, it just looks fun. Like when I watch them play, it looks fun. It looks easy, it looks simple. Just look at how clean these plays are. Pass, pass, swing, bucket. The Utah Jazz are great at maximizing the talent of their personnel. As a team, they run the pick and roll in 22.8% of their possessions, the highest frequency in the entire league out of all teams, and they score at the second highest efficiency. They know they're a great pick and roll team with an extremely lethal ball handler in Mitchell and a great finisher in Gobert, and so they can keep running it over and over again, and the defense can't do anything about it. It's so hard to guard them because they've also got a well-balanced attack. Every player in their rotation can run the pick and roll, and they take turns doing it, so opponents have to adapt and adjust. It's evident by their assist numbers. If you take a look, not a single player on the Jazz averages more than 6 assists per game. Their passes are spread out among different players, which indicates they're sharing the ball and giving everyone a chance to run the offense. They kinda remind me of the old Golden State Warriors. Of course, they had incredible talent, but it was the ball movement and everyone getting touches that made them special. The Jazz players have a different set of skills, but the three-point shooting is there and the ball movement is there. Celtics coach Brad Stevens compared them to the 2014 Spurs, and he said the current Jazz remind him of that Spurs team that won the championship. Defensively, they've always been pretty good. Just having a monster like Gobert anchor the paint, it's so hard for opponents to score over him. In a situation where they blow past their defender, it doesn't matter if they run into Gobert. He'll make every shot in the paint a difficult one. A Western Conference executive even compared them to the 04 Pistons. From top to bottom, they had a strong roster with a dominant defensive big man in Ben Wallace, and their team-oriented approach was necessary to defeat teams with more star power. We know the Jazz have been playing super well, but how do they fare in the playoffs against teams that have more talent than they do? Will guys like Jordan Clarkson still go off for 30 or 40 points in the playoffs? I'm not sure about that. Can they keep up this relentless ball movement and efficiency when defenses start to clamp down and pay more attention to them? We saw glimpses of the Jazz in the previous playoffs, where sometimes their offense would grind to a halt, and they were forced to rely on ISOs when their offense got shut down. I'm hoping this time it'll be different. How far do you think the Jazz will go? What do you think this team is missing? Are they even missing anything? Maybe another competent wing player or two, someone who can switch and defend multiple positions. You can't have enough of players like that. Anyway, that's all folks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.